Imagine your brain is a browser with 17 tabs open. You're reading tab 1 and then poof, tab 8 opens. You read 2 sentences, poof, tab 10 opens. You read a whole paragraph and poof, tab 3 opens. Before you can even read the headline, tab 1 opens again. That is what a brain with ADHD looks like. You cannot process clearly. Things are popping all over the place. Before you can finish a thought, another thought comes that is totally out of left field. For writers, having ADHD can be very challenging. So today, we're going to talk about ADHD hacks for writers. The first hack for ADHD writers is setting finite goals. Now, there are 2 ways to set finite goals. The first is word count. The second is setting a timer. Let's delve into the word count first. If you've been writing for any length of time, you know setting a word count can be very daunting, and you are not going to hit that word count every single time. You may write 3,000 words, you may write a sentence, but if you set your finite goal to be a word count, it can leave you feeling very unfulfilled because you will not hit that word count every time. The second way is using a timer. If you set your timer for 60 minutes and the timer goes off, whether you have 3,000 words or 1 sentence, you still were dedicated to your time, your writing time and space, making progress towards your goal. 2, limit distractions. I cannot stress this enough. Phone off, TV off. The TV is easy. Boop, turn it off. No TV. Phone can be a little bit more difficult because you have alerts coming through 24/7. So my phone is set to not ring when someone calls me. It just vibrates. And the same with text messages. I also have all of my socials turned off, so I don't get any alerts from that. But I do get alerts from the 3 million group me's I'm in because of my children and their activities. But then I also get the news app. So when I set my writing time, I turn my phone face down. So no matter what comes through, I am not distracted by it. My dedicated time is my dedicated time. When you limit distractions, you're able to focus and hone in on what you're writing. Number 3, trick your brain with activity before you begin. Now, you won't see this tip on a lot of blogs. This is something I have found works for me because my ADHD seems to be getting, I don't want to say worse, but more hyper the older I get. So I trick my brain with activity beforehand. What does that look like? Well, busying myself with activity. So if I know I'm about to do a heavy writing session, I'll move around, work around. So I'll throw a load of laundry in the washing machine. I might straighten up in the kitchen. I might go for a walk around the block. I might shoot. I'm like, okay, what are the 3 quick tasks I can get off my plate right now? Okay, let's pay these bills, send these emails, set these calendar alerts. If you trick your brain with activity before you begin, it kind of quells the activity that you'll have while you're writing. Now, of course, random thoughts are still going to pop up, but instead of having 17 tabs open, you might only have 6 or 7. And of course, 6 or 7 is much easier to manage than 17. Hack 4. Have an outline. If you know where you're going, you can get there. Now, of course, outlines change. We understand that, especially if you're writing a novel where you have characters and you're world building. You know, the characters talk to you and they want to do something different. That's cool. But if you have a general outline, it helps to channel your thoughts to exactly where you're supposed to be writing, where you're supposed to be going, what's happening in the plot, which characters are doing what, versus you pantsing, which is where you're just freestyle writing. When you do that, your brain literally is all over the place because you have a myriad of potential outcomes and potential conversations and potential scenes. Narrow that thing on down by creating an outline, and that will help your ADHD. Hack 5, music. But not any type of music, instrumental music. If you are writing to songs that have words, you're saying the words, you're either rapping them or singing them or humming them, but you're still taking away some of the attention you can pay to the actual writing that you're doing. So your brain is split into 2 tabs automatically off the jump. And if you're listening to YouTube, which is what I used to do, the commercials come in and they just completely interrupt the flow of what you have going on. I have found around doing lo-fi music, which is also on YouTube, but they don't have a lot of commercials. Lo-fi music is just instrumental. They have lo-fi jazz, lo-fi hip hop, L-O-F-I. Look up a lo-fi channel and get to writing. Instrumentals always help. Hack 6, creating a writing ritual. Now, don't get weirded out here, okay? I'm not talking potions and witches and brooms. Oh my. I'm talking about a routine that you build leading up to writing. Having ADHD, your brain is so chaotic already. We love a pattern. We love normalcy. It's like sitting in the same place at church every week, ordering the same food when you go to a certain restaurant. The ADHD brain craves that sameness. So when you have a writing ritual, it's letting your brain know, hey, I'm about to write. So whatever that is, create 3 to 5 steps of a writing ritual that you can do leading up to writing. So that can be walking around the block, taking a shower, getting some snacks, sitting down. That can be cleaning your desk, doing some deep stretches, getting some snacks, settling down. And yes, I always say snacks because ADHD people also like crunchy food and I cannot write without snacks. But whatever your writing ritual is, it will help you get into the flow of writing. Something I recommend, bonus tip, that you do is not only glance over your outline, but reread the last page or so of what you wrote. Then go do your writing ritual. So what I do is read the last page, then I go for my walk, take my shower, get my snacks, and settle down. By reading that last page before I get started, it helps me to just slide right into the flow of writing once I begin. Hack 7 for the ADHD writer. Have a piece of paper beside you. Now, hear me out. Because those tabs open up sporadically, you will undoubtedly be writing a romance scene and think, oh my gosh, I have to schedule my flight. Or you're writing 5 tips of how to get started in real estate, that book, and you think, oh my gosh, I have to schedule my kid's dentist appointment. Oh my goodness, somebody has to get their hair done. Wait a minute, did I pay my bills today? If you stop in the middle of your writing time to do everything that pops up on those tabs in your your ADHD brain browser, you will never get finished. And I mean, you will never get finished. So we aren't going to do that, right? With that piece of paper, as soon as a sporadic thought that has nothing to do with what you're writing comes into your mind, scribble it on the piece of paper, it's done. You won't forget it. You can come back to it once you're finished. And it's showing your brain that you're giving attention to that sporadic thought without just shutting it all the way down. So we have it out, have the thought, write it out, it's done, we'll come back to it. Hack 8 for the ADHD writer. Take breaks. Now, I made a post last week. It said something about taking a long unjustified break, and people were like, no, a long unjustified nap. And they're like, there's no such thing as an unjustified nap. Well, thank you very much. But when you're writing, you do need breaks. So it can be 45 minutes worth of writing and a 15-minute break, 50 minutes writing and a 10-minute break. During that break, you're standing up, stretching, moving around, getting your blood flowing and pumping, which will also help your brain come up with creative ideas. But make sure during your writing time, if you're writing concurrently for 2 or 3 hours, you stop and take those breaks. And lastly, number 9 hack for ADHD writers. Celebrate! Celebrate! We have to reward ourselves for doing the work, for being consistent. So let's say your goal is to write every day for 7 days. If you do 1 hour to 2 hours of writing every day for 7 days, celebrate. At the end of that 7th day, go get a latte from Starbucks. Go out for drinks with one of your good friends. Go get some tacos. But do something to reward yourself. That way, the next week, you'll be more likely to continue your writing on purpose, with intention, making progress. I hope these tips help. If you have any questions, make sure you leave me your question in the comment, or you can shoot me a DM. I'll be more than happy to answer. Check me out, carladupont.com. Happy writing.